Story. My first boss in the career in Brasilia was the head of the Department of Administration. He was visited by every ambassador coming to headquarters, of course, because they always want something for the embassies, they want some more resources, more personnel, whatever. And we were two young girls working in this department. And sometimes we were in his office when he was receiving these ambassadors from abroad. All of them men ambassadors, of course. And when one of them or some of them would enter his office, he would look at them and make the following joke. "Oh no, you're coming just now. They were just getting ready to take off their clothes." And they all laughed.
Oh my God.
And we laughed too. This was 30 years ago. Our boss was not a bad person. He was not a womanizer. But he was a product of his time. And so were we. We felt very uncomfortable. We felt diminished. But we were laughing along. Yes, we felt uncomfortable. But we did not realize how these jokes were disrespectful. How they made us invisible as professionals, and visible only perhaps as sex objects. I'm sure they wouldn't like their daughters, their sisters, or their mothers to hear that kind of joke. But somehow for them it felt natural to make those jokes to us, fellow diplomats. This is one of the kinds of violence that women face regularly. And thank God it's not so common anymore, at least in our work environment. And it is punishable by law in Brazil. So I'm telling you this story because I want to say we've come a long way. We have improved a lot, we are much better as a society. But there's a much more dramatic violence still going on, and terribly often. Brazil and Turkey unfortunately share this grim reality. An alarming rate of femicide, the homicide of women just because they are women. And last month, our government launched the National Pact Against Femicide, bringing together ministries, civil society, parliament, and the judiciary to accelerate action and contain this calamity. This pact, President Lula has launched. It includes actions of protection, prevention, education and awareness, very important, and of course holding the killers accountable. And this initiative included a huge communication effort to urge all society, and I want to stress that, especially men, to take an active role in combating violence against women. When launching the pact, President Lula said, "We need to tell our boys from kindergarten to college that girls are not their possession." And with that same spirit, we held this afternoon here at the embassy a conversation between Brazilian women and the lawyer Özlem Tavares on women's rights in Turkey. I thank very much Ms. Özlem for joining us. E obrigada a todas as brasileiras que participaram também. We have to commit to protecting and promoting the rights and dignity of all women. This is a struggle of all societies, and it is a universal challenge, just like preventing conflict. I hope that one day we will indeed be free from the scourge of war, like we, the peoples of the world, declared in the United Nations Charter when the UN was founded. Personally, I believe that if we had more women in decision-making positions, we would have less conflict. By nature, women lean towards conciliation, and we make great peacemakers. But I mentioned the UN Charter, and allow me to pay tribute to a very special Brazilian woman. She was a scientist and a diplomat, one of the few women who participated in drafting the UN Charter in 1945. Her name is Berta Lutz. It's because of her that we now have a reference to equal rights of men and women in the preamble of the United Nations Charter. She has been made invisible for many decades, but now we regularly pay tribute to her and we honor her accomplishment. She was leading a small number of women delegates back then in 1945 in San Francisco. And I also want to mention another extraordinary woman. This one is very much alive, Michelle Bachelet. She has been twice president of Chile. Where's my ambassador of Chile? She has been the High Commissioner for Human Rights. She has been executive director of UN Women, which is the United Nations agency to advance women's rights. And why am I mentioning Bachelet? Because Brazil, Chile, and Mexico have jointly presented her as a candidate to the post of Secretary General of United Nations. She will be, I hope, the first woman to lead the UN. I'm talking more about the UN than my guest of honor, he will forgive me. The UN has been regularly accused of ineffectiveness, especially its Security Council, but we don't need less UN. It must be reformed, yes, it must be updated, but in fact we need more UN and less unilateral action from its more powerful members. So a woman in the highest position of the UN could help reconcile countries with the need for greater humanity, for greater respect for humanity, and more, not less multilateralism. So friends, colleagues, the International Women's Day is always a day exactly for this, for reflection and for celebration. Tonight we will celebrate with music the immense strides we have made as women, and at the same time we vow to continue to work hard for women to be more respected. We have with us three wonderful musicians, one Brazilian and two Turkish women who will offer a program focused on the Brazilian choro. Choro is the predecessor of samba, so it's very, very cherished by us. And it owes a lot also to women composers such as Chiquinha Gonzaga and Lina Peixe, who are in your program. So I thank Vera, Gülce, and Aisha for offering a taste of your talent to us tonight. I don't see where they are. There they are. Thank you. Thank you very much. And the last word, just to thank also my guest of honor. Mr. Babatunde is the right man to talk about the UN, although I did talk a little bit. And I want to thank you very dearly also, because you're here, because you were participating in this with us, and especially because you are representing men who actually respect and honor women. So thank you very much.
I will try. And she told me I must keep it short, yeah? No, not because of that. I actually have to go to the airport very soon to receive the UN Secretary General, who is arriving Ankara in about 90 minutes from now. Dear Ambassador Gilda, Excellencies, friends, let me thank and congratulate Her Excellency Ambassador Gilda Neves and all the staff of the Embassy of Brazil here in Turkey, and more importantly our musicians that will be performing tonight for this uniquely beautiful and meaningful marking of this year's International Women's Day. You know, music as a universal language has the power to unite people across cultures, across races, across backgrounds, across regions. So it is a powerful expression. Music is a powerful expression of our shared humanity. So to everyone present, let the music that we will enjoy this evening help to project the theme of this year's International Women's Day: rights, justice, and action for all women and girls. It is a simple yet urgent charge to all of us. It underscores the need for individuals, governments, and organizations to ensure that women and girls everywhere that men hold worldwide. At the current pace, closing that gap, if we continue to progress slowly as we have been doing, then it will take us 286 years, 286 years to close the gap. So, what is the charge that I have for you this evening? With this concert, by the time you enjoy the music and you feel good about the music, let's take one message. Let that music be a loud message for all of us. The music that we'll enjoy. And the message is this: rights are power. Justice is what turns written rights into reality. And accountability is what makes justice.